Don't matter.
What's that, homie?
He said they got a grant.
Emmitt Award.
ESPN. Shirt and all, my boy.
He said, say cheese.
Turn it off. Put the shirt on. Put the shirt on. Put the shirt on. Put the shirt on.
But it's cool, bro.
He said, look, bro.
Look at his face.
I want to be in a... Hey, hit me a word. From the Hemi. He ain't want damn.
Franchise quarterback written all over it.
The moment the award was announced, everything shifted, not because of the trophy itself, but because of what it represented. Shedeur Sanders, standing at the center of recognition again, didn't just highlight his performance. It exposed a tension that had been building quietly for months.
What does Shedeur need to do this weekend in his first career start to really get those haters quiet and really, show people that he is that dog?
He got to know how to eliminate half the field and find the one-on-one matchup and get the ball out in a timely fashion and be accurate with his throws and be in command of the offense. That's how you play with confidence. That's how you are able to gain the trust of your teammates, by being able to execute and get the ball in the hands of the right people and protect the football. Then there comes a time in the game where you got to force things and take some risks. Calculated risks are always warranted in every.
Some people saw it as validation, others saw it as a problem, and one reaction in particular cut through the noise in a way nobody expected. Shedeur's rise has never followed a comfortable script. Every step upward has been met with resistance that feels intentional, calculated, and personal.
Seen this before. That's why I'm so confused with the people who just continue to just want to hate Shedeur. We've seen this before. It's giving the same energy as when 6 hit the locker room. All he gotta do these next few weeks is perform. That's it. The Browns should have no business doing anything at the quarterback position until they know for 100% certainty that 12 ain't it, because everybody is bought into what 12 got.
The more he produces, the louder the attempts become to minimize what he's doing. And at the heart of that tension sits Kevin Stefanski, whose approach towards Shedeur has raised eyebrows well beyond the locker room. Decisions that don't align with momentum.
Shedeur Sanders' Week 14 performance in the game against the Tennessee Titans on December 7, 2025, that earned him the award. Shedeur Sanders put up a standout performance that also voted him the NFL Rookie of the Week award. And as you can see, his stats over there on the side, Shedeur Sanders had passing yards, 364 yards, had 3 touchdowns.
Every time the pressure increases, Shedeur responds by elevating, not loudly, not with theatrics, but with performance that makes it harder to justify the treatment he's received. The award didn't come out of nowhere. It was the result of consistency under stress, leadership under scrutiny, and execution when the margin for error kept shrinking. And that's exactly why it struck a nerve.
5th round, every team in this league passed on him at least 4 times. Do you realize, with the worst receiving core in the league and the 3rd worst offensive line, since becoming a starter, Shedeur is the best rookie quarterback in the league? Total yards, total touchdowns, big plays, passing yards and attempts, he's the best rookie quarterback since he got the start. Again, not much around it.
That framing collapses the moment results are put on the table. You don't rise repeatedly by accident. You don't command attention from teammates and opponents if you're not doing something right. And you certainly don't keep climbing while obstacles are being placed in your path unless there's something undeniable about your game. That's where Emmitt Smith entered the picture. Not with celebration, not with nostalgia, but with clear frustration. A frustration rooted in recognition.
Plus, until I start to consider the real circumstances that happened yesterday in Cleveland, I will up Shedeur's grade to a B for yesterday because he's fighting against it. When is Stefanski going to take the training wheels off Shedeur? When's he going to let Shedeur be Shedeur?
I'm going to give him a C. I was looking at that game yesterday, and you hit the nail on the head. Stefanski has the training wheels on Shedeur. They got Judkins going. They got him into the flow of the game. They were gashing him a little bit. But then when it comes to Shedeur in the passing game, no opportunity to get him in rhythm. And
Emmitt didn't need to praise the award itself. He focused on the environment around it, on how a player delivering at a high level could still be subjected to treatment that feels dismissive and unnecessarily restrictive. The message was simple, even without direct words.
Even if you don't love sports, take note of what the hell Shedeur Sanders just did.
In the midst of all adversity, in the midst of doubt, in the midst of hate, in the midst of skepticism, even from within his own camp, Shedeur was so good that he couldn't be denied. And too often in society and too often people for Shedeur try to make excuses as to why they couldn't do it, why they couldn't accomplish it, why they didn't live out that dream, why they didn't get that job, why they didn't get that promotion, as opposed to just exceeding your greatest barrier, being greater than your greatest excuse.
This wasn't off-season chatter. This came at a moment when Shedeur's momentum was undeniable. If success doesn't change how someone is treated, then what exactly is the goal? Stefanski's approach has often been framed as discipline and structure, but structure is supposed to create clarity, not confusion. Discipline is supposed to sharpen performance, not dull confidence. With Shedeur, the opposite effect has been visible. The tighter the grip, the sharper his response. The more he's questioned, the more he delivers. That's not a coincidence. That's a player operating despite the system, not because of it. The award became a mirror. It reflected not just Shedeur's growth, but the contrast between belief and doubt around him.
I don't think Kevin Stefanski would make the plane ride home. We've heard of coaches that get fired on the tarmac, and this game was not competitive. 31-3, 21 first downs. Look, that 4 for 14 on third down efficiency, folks, at one point it was 1 out of 9. 1 out of 10.
And Emmitt's reaction amplified that reflection. It put a spotlight on something many had been hesitant to say out loud, that you can't claim to build excellence while consistently undermining the very players who bring it to life. Shedeur's trajectory doesn't depend on comfort. It never has.
The Cleveland Browns quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, won ESPN Emmy Award for his performance against the Tennessee Titans. As you see on the screen, the Cleveland Browns quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, won the ESPN Emmy Award for Week 14 of the 2025 NFL season. The award is weekly a fan-voted accolade presented on ESPN Monday Night Countdown to the player with the most.
What makes this moment significant is that the conversation is no longer confined to fans or analysts. When someone like Emmitt Smith signals that something is off, it carries weight that's hard to ignore. It suggests that the issue isn't perception, it's pattern, and patterns eventually get exposed. Shedeur didn't need anyone to defend his talent. The tape already does that. What he needed, and what Emmitt highlighted, was respect for how that talent is handled. Development isn't about containment. Leadership isn't about suppression.
The difference between, and look, Kevin Stefanski is supposed to be an offensive guru. The difference between him and Ben Johnson, that's light years. You're galaxies apart. All right, you got Stefanski out there running that antiquated old Gary Kubiak offensive system. Not now. I don't think it works unless you've got a ton.
And success shouldn't be met with skepticism from within your own structure. The award didn't create this tension, it revealed it. And as Shedeur continues to rise, the space for denying that reality keeps shrinking. Every performance makes it harder to justify decisions that seem disconnected from results. Every recognition forces another uncomfortable comparison between what he's achieving and how he's being treated.
Of the season, Kevin Stefanski has taken everybody on a roller coaster ride with his opinions about Shedeur Sanders. Well, I'm here to tell you, last week Shedeur Sanders threw for over 300 yards and had 4 touchdowns. You would think he will be more elated to brag about his rookie quarterback putting up these big-time numbers. I mean, numbers that we haven't seen since the great Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers type numbers. Kevin Stefanski, he didn't seem very excited about that.
This isn't a story about rebellion or ego. It's about alignment. When a player is clearly ascending, the role of leadership is to support that ascent, not challenge it unnecessarily. When that doesn't happen, voices like Emmitt's become inevitable. What nobody saw coming wasn't outrage, it was clarity.
We all gonna have excuses. We all gonna have haters. We all gonna have doubters. We all gonna have barriers. We all gonna have obstacles in this life. But what I love about what Shedeur did, he didn't complain about it. He just went and was so good, he couldn't be denied. Everybody learned from that. Whether you love or hate Shedeur, because I promise, somebody in your life hates you. Somebody in your life gets gleeful when you fail. But if you're so good that you can't be denied, ultimately you will sit on the throne.
And the most telling part is this. Despite everything, Shedeur keeps rising. Awards or not, approval or not. He moves forward because his game demands it, because pressure doesn't scare him, because doubt doesn't define him. So the real question is this. When history looks back, will it credit Shedeur's rise, or expose the hesitation of those who were slow to see it? Pay attention from here on out. Watch the decisions, listen to the explanations, and remember who stood firm when it mattered most.